also I feel like it's such a new medium. People are sort of trying to find their fit. And look, I understand it's not a new medium, but when you're talking about in terms of esports compared to traditional sports or streaming and YouTube compared to traditional forms of media, this is still absolutely very new. And I think people are just trying to figure out the way that it works best. And that's the bit that I sort of get excited about. The content creation is absolutely part of it. I have always been a sort of creative person looking for creative opportunities to probably share jokes more than anything else. But no, obviously, content is a huge part of what drives me. But I also sort of love the aspect of social change that these sort of platforms, bauxite, that these sort of platforms and things do. Like I said, the video gaming industry in the space of my lifetime has changed from it being something that was very much a person sitting in their own room playing video games, being antisocial and not really interacting with other people, and almost, I guess, negative connotations with gaming in terms of, anyone that does it is a bit of a nerd. The whole South Park hiding down in your basement, nerd playing World of Warcraft type deal. To, I mean, you look at someone like Ninja, who's pretty sort of universally acknowledged as the biggest sort of gamer in the world. In terms of personality, is that the term that we should use? I don't know. I mean, I think he's a celebrity in his own right. I don't think we need to. There's a little zombie. I hate little zombies. I don't think we necessarily need to put any sort of label on him in terms of him being an celebrity as opposed to a celebrity. But yeah, it's. And he's got mates too. Just both of you calm down, all right? Calm. This new combat is difficult. Yeah, so you look at someone like him and he's, I guess, perceived. I mean, I don't know. I could be out of touch, but I assume he's perceived as a cool figure by the youth, by the generation after me and the generation after that. So it's definitely we're in a situation where social media and esports and online entertainment has completely changed the way that we interact with each other, even changed sort of what's cool and what's not cool. I find that fascinating. I find that incredible that we're sort of, it has completely changed from that into what it is. And I guess the other aspect of it is being a person that loves content and consumes content sort of on a daily basis is just the plethora of content and information that's out there at the moment. Amazes me. Like I think I have 3 or 4 different streaming platforms, Amazon Prime and Netflix, and I, to be honest, don't really watch many of them because I tend to spend most of my time on YouTube or on Twitch or TikTok or whatever the sort of flavor of the day happens to be. Just because user-generated content just totally inspires me. Like I don't get me wrong, I'll watch Game of Thrones over and over and over again, and obviously those high production things amaze me, but just some of the creative ideas that people can come up with on these platforms absolutely it inspires me to sort of create my own content, if I'm perfectly honest. But it's also what sort of makes me excited for, I guess, the future of entertainment and where we sort of go from here. If everyone has a mobile phone in their pocket, then everyone is or a cell phone, depending on what part of the world you're from. If everyone has one of those in their pocket, then everyone is capable of producing their own content and enjoyable content. It may not necessarily be. I feel like traditional media will always have a home. I feel like it will always have a place, just because the production value and stuff that they can do. They've been doing it for so long. And they obviously have the best writers and what have you. So, but yeah, it gives a platform for people. And again, it goes back to that point. It gives a platform for people that haven't had that platform before. It gives them a chance to be able to express themselves where they may not have been able to do that 20 years ago. Um, I think, I mean, the music industry is another one that I find. Come on, champ. I haven't had anything to eat. Let me just run around this corner and have a bit of pork, and then I'll come and say hello to you. Yeah, the music industry is sort of something that I grew up around and sort of spent a fair bit of time around, so I sort of have a bit of a different biased opinion on that. And I don't necessarily feel like it was any sort of artist. Wait, you cheeky bugger! I don't sort of feel like it was an artist. It was the artist's fault by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like there was corporations and stuff involved. But yeah, the point I'm sort of trying to make is that I feel like music is probably, we're very much in the same situation where anyone can create music. I mean, you look at that poor Rebecca Black. And I say poor because I feel like all she tried to do was create herself. Yeah, create something for herself, and she got sort of ridiculed for it. But yeah, she could create a song that sort of instantly became huge and famous, and yeah, TikTok's a good example of people being able to sort of create their own music and content and what have you. Um, yeah, but the sort of music industry, I feel like, has made some of these people stars overnight, and it hasn't taught them the craft of music, which absolutely could be said for this sort of content as well. But I feel like this content will get to that point as well where in the next sort of 10, 15, 20 years, people will be doing streams and people will be doing YouTube videos that are as good content quality, and there'll be a guidebook and there'll be a handbook for how to produce good content, very much like the music industry. But I guess my problem with the music industry is that, as opposed to this industry, is that the music industry eventually gets to the point where I feel like the artists only really make any money because of things like Spotify and what have you. The artists only really seem to make any money from live concerts and what have you. And if you're a person that made it big on YouTube, who created your own song using vocal editing and whatever, and created something big, and then you've never really had the chance to. Oh, I got some more of that bitumen. I don't know if I like that bitumen now. I was excited by it at first, but yeah, if you were, I guess in the past, if you were an up and coming band or someone that was people were excited by, you'd sort of do the circuit first, and you'd sort of learn how to perform live prior to selling out Wembley Stadium and playing in front of 30,000 people. But if you're sort of an internet sensation overnight, and then forced to go do your first concert and you don't sort of know the craft of what you're doing, that's, I think, when there can be trouble, because how many times have you gone to a concert and said, they sound nothing like I thought they would sound, because they sounded a lot better in on their CD. The CD's still a thing? God, I'm showing my age. They sounded a lot better on Spotify than they did in real life. So I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a different scenario, but yeah, I feel like there's definitely similarities in terms of I feel like streamers will eventually learn what is right, for lack of a better word, and what is wrong, what works and what doesn't work, and then there'll be a new standard for what, I guess, the profession should be, or what a stream should look like, and that will just evolve over time. So I feel like I've been mining for hours and I've got nothing in my backpack. Um, so yeah, I feel like we're on the precipice of something exciting. So back to, I guess the point I was trying to make is that I'm sort of a little bit excited by this venture that I'm going on. More so for, I guess, where this is going to go in the future, in terms of what will streaming look like in 10 years' time. Will Twitch continue to be what it is? Obviously, there's now I think while Twitch was a solo player in the market, I feel like there was always sort of I don't know if stigma is the right term, but there was always sort of it was never perceived as being 100% legit. I mean, I know it was by the people here and the people doing it and the people gaming and whatever, but I guess for mainstream advertisers, mainstream content producers, mainstream people, obviously Twitch is still a limited audience, but the more other people, sorry, excuse me while I just adjust myself here. The more other people and other companies like Facebook and Microsoft and what have you get involved in some sort of streaming service, whether it be Mixer or Facebook Gaming or whatever it is, the more sort of legitimacy it brings to gaming, and obviously I think the other interesting aspect of it is, will the next progression towards gaming be companies like Twitch or Facebook or whatever creating their own games that are platform specific to them? So if you want to play the latest and greatest free-to-play blockbuster, whether that, let's say Fortnite's made in 10 years' time, well, what if Facebook Gaming are the people that made Fortnite or the next Fortnite? And what if they said, if you want to stream to X amount of people, you can only stream it on Facebook? Is that another interesting dilemma that we're going to have to face? Yeah, I feel like I'm excited to see where all of this stream. I will tell you one thing though, and this is off on a bit of a tangent here. I feel like I've been using this pickaxe for ages, and it doesn't seem like it's. I mean, the durability's going down, obviously, but it seems like it can mine for ages and ages and ages. I feel like an iron pickaxe would have broken about 17 times by now. But maybe it's because I'm doing the whole cave picking stuff as opposed to. Anyway, yeah. So that the whole sort of point on my little topsy turvy tale there through wherever we just were into where we are now is that this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Obviously, the lockdown has sort of enabled me to be able to find some time to start creating content, which is sort of what I enjoy anyway. I love playing video games, so why not do some Twitch and have a bit of fun while I'm getting to know how to use all of these platforms and stuff, because I feel like eventually it will become a profession. I mean, it's a profession now, but it will become, I guess, as big as TV, radio, podcasting. I think podcasting is a great analogy. So when podcasting first came out, it was very much seen as, it was very much, I guess, a small time thing. There wasn't many people listening to podcasts. I think the technology behind it in terms of who could actually reach your content was a little bit different. I feel like now that everyone has a smartphone and stuff, but it was sort of, you needed I think the first couple of podcasts I listened to were on iTunes. So you needed an iPhone and you needed sort of specific technology to be able to listen to podcasts, whereas now they're sort of very much mainstream. I feel like with the advent of censorship, I feel like podcasts are sort of a way for people like comedians and stuff. You look at Joe Rogan, obviously a huge player in the game. But yeah, I'm just looking at a lot of comedians like Bobby Lee, Theo Von, those sort of guys. It's an opportunity for them to be able to produce content without censorship, because at the end of the day, it's their beast. It's what they're sort of sharing, and they don't want to, they don't want to be beholden to, I guess, a radio station that could pull them off the air at any time. Or am I going to need a nerd pole to get up there? I don't know if I need copper that badly. Is it copper? Yeah. We'll come back for that. I'm going to spend a week trying to find my way out, if I'm perfectly honest. So yeah, podcasting I think is a great sort of analogy, or a great sort of starting point for what no, that's not the way, for what I see gaming, I guess, eventually becoming. Gaming, streaming. Because yeah, it was very much there was only a certain amount of people that were listening, so it was very much perceived as not what I would call a serious sort of contender for content creation, and I guess sort of laughed at a bit by radio stations. I used to do a little bit of sort of radio, just small time community radio stuff, but I feel like podcasting was always very much, that looks like not the way I came in. Podcasting was very much a small player in the game, and now we're at a situation. I feel like maybe I should come back to this because I'm already lost. trying to find my way out. I've only got 20 torches left. Let's just grab just a little. Don't get too greedy. Just grab a little bit of stuff off the walls here. Yeah, and I feel like podcasting very much has got some sort of legitimacy now. I think Ricky Gervais obviously started it back in the day. For those of you that have never listened to the Ricky Gervais podcast, that was, I think, the first major podcast I listened to. I think he was the first one to get 1 million downloads too. But anyway, so that very much I think a good analogy for what I think streaming is sort of heading towards, and it may already be past that, to be honest. But just something that I'm not sure many people took seriously. I'm not sure many people still take it seriously, to be honest. In terms of, you look at my generation, I'm sure that there's a small select few, but I think that most of my generation are still Netflixing and chilling rather than watching content. So I think as the generation that grew up with it sort of gets older, they will definitely give it more legitimacy. But I also think that as the content changes, and as more people sort of gravitate towards these sort of amazing content creators, the more the landscape of streaming will change. So that's who I am. In a nutshell, I am very much driven by, I guess, creativity and just being inspired by others. And the guy who was in my chat earlier, oh, that's clay. I wonder if that helps with anything. Normally, anyway, yeah, I think the guy, I think he's Orbitals I was talking to earlier. I will definitely, when I finish the stream, jump off and just have a chat to it. Well, not have a chat, have a follow to him. Follow him. I will follow him just to check out his stream and see what he's doing and what I think he said he had 100 followers too, which was fantastic. But yeah, just to be able to see what with being new to it and all, what other people are doing and how this platform is evolving and how I can get some of my creative juices flowing without and learning from some other people in the game. So if you run across this VOD or if you are watching this YouTube, I mean, I got a bit deep tonight. Maybe this isn't YouTube material. Anyway, I'll watch it back and see what it's all like. But yeah, if you are in the comments, or if you do, if you want to have a chat and let me know, if you think anything of what I'm saying makes any sense, or if I've just been talking nonsense for the last hour or so. I think both points are equally valid, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think the future will hold. I also think it's if you do have a channel or something that you think I might be interested in following, by all means, let me know, and I will follow. I will also. I know I had somebody jump in here earlier. I feel like I should maybe go back through and find out who that was, but they asked if they could jump online. I haven't really looked into a whole server experience thing, mainly because I've just been out of the game so long. I'm not real sure how to get it all to work and whatever. But maybe after a couple of streams, I figured I'd just sort of do a quick playthrough here to maybe give you guys a better understanding of who I am and what I'm doing and what have you. I'm not sure how educational on Minecraft I'm being, but again, this is obviously the first episode, so this is going to be a lot of resource gathering and whatever. Dirt fossil. Oh, I don't know what these things are, but we'll get there. I'm so totally lost. Yeah, but I will look into that server thing and see whether or not it's something that we could potentially do. And yeah, like I said, I'm genuinely excited by the content that people can create, especially just with a webcam and oh god, I'm back here again, aren't I? Where did I go? Help me. See, this is why. So, as I said, upon starting up, and I will have a look at what that guy's name was. The official Eclipse scan. He said great stream, which I genuinely appreciate him saying. That, like I said, this is all relatively new to me. So the whole backdrop screen, I think if you go back some of my past VODs, that's ever changing as I sort of learn more about what I'm doing and how this whole streaming thing works. I'm sort of trying to improve my overlays and things like that as well. So that is hopefully a work in progress. Do you reckon I came from up there? Surely not. I guess we'll throw some of this down and have a look. Yeah, I will have a look and see whether or not that's a thing that we might be able to do. Yes, I definitely didn't come from up here. But maybe up here. I feel like I'm back where I started. Imagine being a poor viewer out there and having to watch this, just me wandering around like a lost puppy trying to find my way out. I feel like I'm up here. So yeah, that was the green thing, the green blocks. We're home. We did it. We made it out, and it's daytime. Again, this is what the first day out of quarantine. Yay! Sun's shining. Our tower. Maybe I need to build towers underground as well. Our tower to getting lost is here. And we're out here. Birds are chirping. The sun's somewhere. No, it's afternoon, so the sun's going down. Right, well, we're here. Let's just have a quick recap. So I've obviously dropped a lot of garbage on you there, a lot of my thoughts and stuff about content creation and stuff. So let's just have a recap. I've got a whole bunch of ores in here that I will figure out how I'm going to go through the whole ore processing part of the... I don't want you guys in there. You're going to go in here. Yeah, how the whole ore processing thing, do we need to look at doubling ores and stuff? I assume we do, but I will get to that. This chest will have odds and ends, bits and pieces. Bitumen is going in there. So let's, we'll keep all those in there. This stuff will be good to repair. I wonder if I can just repair in the inventory. No, that's not it. That's it. Two, three of those. All right. Well, we did it. Yeah, so we've got our ores there. We've got coal and stuff there. We've got natural type products, which I guess we can move that in there. Sinew, dried sinew, tallow. I guess that stuff counts as raw. Raw ingredients, natural ingredients, bones. No, we'll leave bones in here as sort of mod droppies type deals. Type scenarios. Yeah, so we got that and that. Let's eat some berries. No, we don't need to. And we've got that stuff. So we've started a somewhat rudimentary sorting system because as I said, things like, so those torches up there are really, in fact, I will fix that right now. I tend to be a bit, I think the word I used was anal, but maybe anal's not the right term. I don't know. I tend to want stuff to be exactly just so. Like that kind of annoys me that that's not a step. So I really want to pull this stuff down and knock this thing out. But I'll fight against all of that because it's sort of, I like the fact that there's chest there and chest there. I don't like how that doesn't line up with that. I feel like, anyway, we'll just ignore that. We'll look this way.